Imagine a future where millions of American homes are left in the dark, not due to a natural disaster, but because of a deliberate policy decision. This is the stark reality facing nearly 5 million households as Donald Trump's administration wages an unprecedented assault on the U.S. wind industry. What's even more startling is that this move not only threatens clean energy, but also jeopardizes thousands of jobs. Jobs that were already within reach. But here's where it gets controversial. While Trump claims wind turbines are ruining the country, experts argue they're a lifeline for both the economy and the planet. So who's really pulling the strings here? Trump has abandoned the Republican Party's traditional all-of-the-above energy strategy, instead using the federal government to aggressively dismantle clean energy projects, particularly offshore wind farms. The scale of this intervention is staggering. 9 offshore wind projects, already permitted and poised to power nearly 5 million homes and create around 9,000 jobs, are now under investigation or on hold. And this is the part most people miss. These aren't just numbers on a page. They represent real families, real livelihoods, and a real shot at combating climate change. Trump has gone further, banning new solar and wind projects on federal lands and waters, slashing incentives for clean energy. And in a move almost unheard of for a U.S. president, calling for an entire industry to be halted. Windmills, we're just not gonna allow them. They are ruining the country, he declared last month. At the United Nations, he went as far as claiming, without evidence, that countries are on the brink of destruction because of the green energy agenda. Trump's disdain for wind turbines is well documented. He's called them ugly, disgusting, and garbage, labeling support for wind and solar energy as the scam of the century. This grudge has been particularly aimed at the U.S. offshore wind sector, with his administration halting, delaying, or investigating 9 permitted projects off the East Coast, 5 of which were already under construction. In just the past 2 weeks, officials have moved to stop a project off Maryland and review another off Massachusetts. Take Revolution Wind off Rhode Island's coast, for example. This project, 80% complete, was halted until a federal judge allowed work to resume. But the administration isn't backing down, claiming it poses risks to national security, a claim critics say is baseless. Doug Burgum, Trump's Interior Secretary, bluntly stated, under this administration, there is not a future for offshore wind because it is too expensive and not reliable enough. But is that the whole story? Critics argue this crackdown is less about cost and reliability and more about favoring fossil fuels. Trump, who receives significant donations from the oil and gas industry, has invoked emergency powers, gutted environmental regulations, and boosted fossil fuel subsidies. Meanwhile, wind and solar are often the cheapest sources of electricity, and slowing their deployment could raise energy costs for American households. In New England, grid operators warn of potential power shortages if these projects are scrapped. The fallout is already being felt. Developers are in chaos. Atlantic Shores, a planned wind farm off New Jersey's coast, asked the state to cancel its contract after Trump's EPA revoked a necessary permit. Empire Wind 2 off New York also canceled its contract, citing economic concerns. It's rare for the U.S. government to shut down projects it previously approved, yet here we are. And here's the kicker. 6 more offshore wind projects, promising an additional 11.6 gigawatts of power, are still in the permitting phase, making them even more vulnerable to being scrapped. experts warn this could raise electricity prices, jeopardize billions in private investment, and undermine national energy security. What's most baffling is that this stance contradicts public opinion. A recent poll by Citizens for Responsible Energy Solutions, CRES, found that 85% of Republican voters support the all-of-the-above approach, with nearly 3/4 wanting clean energy to cut planet heating pollution. There's this harsh turn against renewable energy from the White House, particularly offshore wind. Said Heather Reams, CRES CEO, sounds like it is personal. So, what's really driving this war on wind? Is it economic concerns, personal disdain, or something else entirely? And what does this mean for the future of clean energy in America? The answers may lie in the intersection of politics, power, and profit. But one thing is clear, the stakes couldn't be higher. What do you think? Is Trump's stance on wind energy justified, or is it a step backward for America's energy future? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments.